Okay, so recap of the game. Very glad we got a road win. Glad the way that, for the most part, that we finished the game. Whatever, I mean, I can't remember now. 40. I said after the game, 48-8 or whatever it ended up being, 40-something to 8. The last 31 minutes of the game. So that's really good playing on the road. But not very pleased how we started. We didn't tackle very well at all for the most part. So a lot of work to do. You know, we didn't punt, which is a goal of ours. And that part was good, but at the same time we have 3 series that we get no points out of by throwing them the ball twice and missing a throw on the 4th down conversion. So a lot of work to do. Congratulations to Mingo, you know, with the receiving record, and I think that's really cool for a guy that's been here a long time, never complains about catches, playing time. So, you know, it's awesome to use those stories with the team this morning, you know, for guys to understand, you know, there's something to just working really hard and doing all the little things like you did to spring another touchdown run by blocking a linebacker. And so glad for him. But a huge game coming up, a team that has beat us twice and has really good players and has played really good at times. And so we're going to need to improve. We're going to need our fans to come with a lot of energy. And, you know, I think it was, I mean, when you watch football around the country, you see how fans matter. You know, you watch the false starts at the end of the Alabama game, you know, and the inability for people to hear a cadence when they're, you know, trying to use verbal cadence. So we saw the effect of it in the Kentucky game, you know, by our crowd. So we need that again.
Questions?
Lane, there's a couple reports that Michael Trigg suffered a broken collarbone in that game. Are you able to provide any update on his status?
Yeah, we don't really have any public injury information, you know, like always.
I think it came out right before the game that Ladarius, Ishim play rock, paper, scissors to figure out who starts. I guess, what kind of led to that? And I guess it speaks to the depth, but also maybe that meshing of all these players from every place that you've been working on.
Yeah. So that's why we don't let assistant coaches talk to the media, because Partridge decided to tell the media that we do that. So, you know, that's just something that, you know, we were in a situation with 3 really good players that basically play 2 spots, and we play a lot of plays on defense because of our offensive tempo. So it's very hard for anybody to play the whole game and play really fast. So those guys we knew would end up playing whatever, if there's 80 plays and 60 between all of them. So, you know, I just said, well, you can't hold it against us if, you know, which one starts, and so let them play rock, paper, scissors every week. They can only blame themselves, you know. So it's a classic, then they argue because one wins, and they, of course, say best 2 out of 3. So it gets them, you know, arguing with each other, not us.
Do you have a go-to on rock, paper, scissors? Are you always the paper guy or scissors?
I haven't played that for a while. And then the only time I guess really I have anymore is with Knox, and then you're not allowed to win because then it goes best of 5, you know, like it just keeps going. So I don't really have a go-to on that.
You guys are halfway through a season. You haven't had an open date yet. You don't have one for another couple of weeks. Not asking for specifics, but just in general, how beat up is your team? How much are you having to manage that at this point in the year?
I mean, it is what it is. You know, whatever the schedule is, you know, don't worry about it. And you never know. Sometimes you wish it was at a certain time, and then it comes later, and you don't know, you know, that you actually like it better then. So everybody has issues this time of year. We have ours, and it seems like a lot of them. So, you know, we'll do our best and move people around like we have, and figure it out.
You talked about a couple of losses to Auburn just the last few years. What stands out about the challenge whenever you guys are facing this team?
I just think they got really good players and, have given us problems. We haven't done really well offensively, in either game. So, we got to worry about what we can control, which is playing really well, and play a full game. Now we've showed we can do it backwards. Normally we were this first half team and don't play great fourth quarters, and we did the opposite this week. So the challenge is now to put it all together.
You've been on both sides of the hot seat rumors before, and obviously Auburn's going through that now too. What's the challenge of coaching and keeping a team focused when there's so much going on outside the building?
Well, I didn't do very good. I got fired after 5 games, so I'm probably not the one to ask how to do that. I was 3-2, so I'm probably not the right one to ask that.
Didn't have a 100-yard rusher for the first time this season on Saturday. Just your thoughts on your running game and, where it goes from here.
Every game's different, and, it's why you predict this is going to happen, predict that, you don't know. And they coach too, they play too, and, people know what you do and they go take it away. Otherwise, it'd be easy every week. So, once you start running and putting up 300-yard games and stuff, people start doing different stuff to you, and that opens up different things. And so, to me, they were playing a lot of run stunts and the heavy run game in the front. So you saw when we passed, he had a lot of time to throw. So that's just how it always works. And it's why you always want balance. So when they do take one away, you can do the other.
Obviously, Jonathan Mingo had a record-setting day. What's his development been like since your arrival in 2020, and do you envision him being the next superstar wide receiver from Ole Miss at the next level?
I just really like him as a kid, and he's an awesome leader by example. Never says anything, but just works and never complains, and has been through adversity. And I just remember the passion he had when the guy came out and tried to practice for Alabama when there was no way he was going to be able to go, and still tried, and the tears in his eyes. And it's just special to kids. Every kid, it's fine. If you take a team meeting at every school and you say who loves football, they'll all raise their hand. Well, that's not true. When you really love football, you practice and prepare like this guy does. So it's just awesome to have around.
Your offensive line, I think, ranked second in the country in fewest sacks allowed. They were taking some criticism early in the season about pass protection. Where do you think that is right now?
I think it's better. I think, not to not be completely positive, part of that is once you run the ball, they play the pass different. You get different pass rushes, and you don't get in a lot of third and longs. So they have improved. That's been good, but the ability to run the ball like they have definitely helps that.
Do you guys have a name for that set with JJ and KD playing fullback, and just kind of where did that come from? Which coach kind of thought that one up?
That's what we did at Alabama. Just a goal line thing. We've actually had it, and didn't have a situation where we really needed it. So it just came up. I think it was Ashawn and Robinson and Jonathan Allen. So it was just something that we always had. I think Payne did it once for us too. Especially when we don't have a lot of bigger tight end bodies and stuff, and those guys a lot of times are more athletic at things, and so it was good. We got on it today because if you watch the celebration afterwards, all the offensive players celebrate, and then the 2 D linemen run over to each other and celebrate. So I try to teach them it's a team game. You can celebrate with the guy who's scored the touchdown too.
Lane, it looked like on your last possession there, the last drive, that you were explaining the last touchdown to Clark Lee at the end of the game. Is that what was going on?
Yeah. I didn't. Sometimes things happen. They're in the heat of the game, and you don't really feel great about it. And I think, you know, even though our players get mad at me, you know, probably should have taken a knee there. And I told him that. And, you know, and I wanted him to explain the Mingo thing, because upstairs they called out and said he needs 1 yard to have the school record. So they said that at the beginning of the series. So we really were just trying to throw him a hitch and tell him to run out of bounds. And they clouded it the first 2 times. So that's why we threw him a ball there at the end. So I wanted him to know that too. And, you know, Matt Jones has been special teams player of the week like 4 weeks in a row, or service team player of the week. And so we moved him up and brought him on the trip. And, you know, so kind of got caught up in that, but then, you know, didn't really like how it felt.
How have you seen Zach take Quinshawn under his wing, and what have you noticed about their relationship?
I just think they have a really good relationship, very unselfish, which is hard to do. So, you know, it's a hard thing. Egos get involved, and there's only so many carries, and only one guy can be in at a time for the most part. It's not like playing receiver. So I think they've done a great job and really complement each other really well.
And Zach has been a huge addition here. What has he meant to this program, and what makes him so special?
Well, I think he had a really good second half, and he set the tone. You know, he talked about, you know, playing angry, you know, at halftime, and he came out and ran the guy over on the sidelines, you know, instead of running out of bounds. And so I think that was good to see, and then that followed later on with the touchdown run, another one where you could go out of bounds. So I think that was really good, and our sidelines felt that hit when he ran the guy over too on the sidelines.
To that tight end position and depth, looked like Heath was having a good fall camp. And what have you seen out of him progressing wise in that position so far?
He just hasn't had a lot of opportunities. He had a couple holds at the end of games when he got in there, and some freshman mistakes, but, you know, he's going to be really good, and, you know, have really high expectations for him.
After the game, Jackson was talking about how nice it was to be able to make short passes and have guys break tackles, make other guys miss. Just for this offense, how big of a piece is that to have guys making those sorts of plays?
Well, I mean, anytime you can throw short and run long, you know, and score from far, it makes it a lot easier. And so that was huge. We've had a lot of explosive passes this season, but not necessarily the really long ones. So that obviously was really good to have, and, you know, that's a quarterback's friend. You can use your players, and you throw short, and they make a lot of yards after contact.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, guys, have a good week.